My name's Chelsea Leland. I went to the New Student Dialogue on November 27th at 7 p.m. It was the dialogue on the mirror's false reflection. About a body image dialogue. We discussed a lot about vulnerability and being vulnerable to each other, and how being vulnerable is a good thing, that it helps you appreciate the good things in life, and being upset or being depressed and stuff like that over being vulnerable is never a good thing. There's only good things can come out of being vulnerable. But to get into the questions, do I think our group achieved true dialogue? Personally, I don't think our group achieved true dialogue. I don't know if it was late, or if people didn't understand that being vulnerable was a good thing, or whatever. There was only out of 30 people, there was only about 10 of us that were trying to share and keep up a conversation. And even then, it really wasn't a conversation. It was people sharing things and everybody looking at each other kind of awkwardly. When I think dialogue, I think conversation, and I think responding and putting together with somebody else's "I've been there too" and "you're not alone," or just reassuring statements things that we were asked to share about personal experiences that have happened to us that have made us feel vulnerable in our past or in our time since we've been here at Clemson. And like I said, there was only about 10 of us that would share, and each one of us shared probably about 4 experiences, and other people still didn't respond to those. Even the 10 of us that were responding and keeping up the conversation or trying to make things less awkward, we still didn't respond well to each other's vulnerable moments. Were there active voices in your dialogue? Yes, like I said, there was probably about 10 of us that kept up trying to share experiences and what was going on in our lives and stuff like that. There were a few people that would speak up when the questions weren't so personal. Like when we actually wound up discussing more about our academics and our majors and how we've changed our majors since we've been at Clemson, and how we respond to making new friends and judging each other and judging people that we don't really know so well, and then how you turn around and you get to know somebody and they're a lot more like you than you originally assumed. There was some people that would speak during those times, but when it came to things like your body image or the way others view you or the way you view others, then they had a harder time speaking up in the conversation. I shared a few experiences going in. Going in, I didn't think I'd say much of anything, but it was more awkward, I think, sitting there just like staring at each other. So I wound up sharing a few experiences that I've had in my life that were not so wonderful. They were quite vulnerable. I tried, like I said, to respond to things that other people have said, because a lot of people's things a few people had brought up the fact that they wore glasses and had braces and stuff when they were in grade school or middle school, whatever. And I still wear glasses. They were saying how people would pick on them and call them 4 eyes and stuff like that, and I tried to respond with we've all been there. I think we all get picked on about that, which is crazy because so many people wear glasses. There's actually a lot of people nowadays that wear glasses that don't even need glasses, so it's kind of a redundant and old thing to pick on somebody for, but I think that we've all been there at some point in our lives. Why do you think the dialogue is a component of Library 100? Do you see dialogue as a useful tool in your university experience? I think that the dialogue is a component of Library 100 because it forces us as students to interact with each other in ways that more than likely we wouldn't. As a lot of people pointed out, that they went in there thinking that they weren't going to talk, or they still thought it was strange talking to or opening up to a group full of people that they don't know, or they learned things about people that, you know, when you first walk in the room, you're looking around the room, you're like, oh, well, that person's like that, and that person's like that, and then all of a sudden they start talking, and you're like, oh, wow, well, we're all kind of going through the same situation. So it kind of broadens the student's perspective that we're not alone in what we're doing or what we're experiencing. We're all standing at a crossroads in our life about how we don't know exactly where we're going to be when we graduate. We don't know, you know, where our lives are going to turn up or how things are going to go. And I did think it was quite useful because you're able to hear from each other and even just open up to each other or a bunch of strangers, like things that you're going through. Another big thing, I've said, is that a lot of us have changed our majors, or we're still not sure where we're going to be when we graduate, or how things are going to go, or what's going on. So, personally, I just want to say thank you for making this a requirement. I'm a transfer student, and this was never a requirement at my old school, and I think that it's very helpful, and it was a wonderful learning experience.